Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be focusing today on how to type complex questions in any subject discipline. So we'll still use our word processing office software. When I click and it opens like this, I will take any recent document here. I'll go to this recent. Beside this plus sign where they have written create like that, I will check on my left hand side. I can take just this one as an example. Now my recent document is already having a header. Here is the header. So if you want to know, if you don't have a recent document in your phone that is having a header, it means that you have to first of all create this header like that using the notions that we learned in our previous lessons. Now when your header is being created, you now come down here and then you start setting your questions. I started with number one, like using your knowledge of both mass and fractions. Maybe you can add a and decimal fractions, solve the following problems. Okay, and now click enter to put number 1A. Question number 1A. I can just say here 2.5 times 3.6 times 5.1. Now I touch my screen and hold and I drag across. When I discover that I've selected everything, I take these four shapes on my left hand side, then I come down here and then I underline it. When it is underlined, I click on done. Now I come out here, I see take edit. Now when it is behind 1, when my case is behind the last number like that or digit, I can take enter, and then I use the space bar key to bring it a bit in the middle where I can type the second set of fractions. 1.8 times 6.25 times 1.7. Okay, when you look at this fraction, this set of decimals down here, you discover there's a very big space between the first set of decimals, the numerator and the denominator. So I will select all. I will come again to these four shapes here, and then I scroll down to multiple. Multiple here is where we reduce the spacing. I'll click on it, then I will scroll across. I will scroll towards. When I click on multiple, I will scroll towards my left hand until I can take this 0.25. See that it's already there, and then the spacing has reduced. So I click on 0.25, and then I can also click on done. You now see that my first problem has been solved, it's already there. So I edit again. Now I take enter to go to the second problem. I can take enter again to give the space for the second question, maybe question B. Now question B, we can take 2 3/4 of 16 or even 24. You see that I'm writing is not showing very well. When it's not showing very well like this, I can equally select all, and then I take this my four shapes again. I go back to that my multiple. I set it back on the 1.5. That's the standard 1.5. See that when it's original 1.5, when I write now, it will be very visible. 24 plus 3 and 4 feet. I will first of all write like this. By the end, I will adjust. Divided by 2.5. 2.5. Now when I write like this, how will I put the half? I will click in the middle here and come and take the slanting line. Here is the slanting line. I click on it, it will divide, it will separate the 1 and the 2. I come and do the same thing here. Just put the slanting line in here and put the slanting line. Now for this 3 to be seen as a numerator, I will still select it. I take these four shapes. I go right down to where they are written t square. I click on t square. The 3 now will appear as a numerator. For this 4 now to appear as a denominator, I'll equally select it and I go down. When I reach down here now, I'll take the t that I have written with the 2 as a subscript to show that the number has to go down. You see that it's already down. I'll come here, I select 4 and do the same thing. I'll put this one as a numerator. I'll select 5 and then I put it as a denominator. When I come here, I'll do the same thing. I'll select 1 and go down to t square for it to become the numerator. When I select 2, I'll equally take it as a denominator. Okay, at this junction you see that you realize that my second question has already been set, so I can take enter again on my right hand side, the arrow key on my right hand side, to give the spaces where the children or the students are going to solve. Now take question 2. Question 2, I can just say find, just take a question under geometry, find the area of the portion, and the area of the portion of this rectangular piece of land that has not been covered by the circular maybe tomato plot. Yes, this can be my question. You can imagine yourself. See, fine. Now my fine here, let me capitalize it. Fine. Find the area of the plot of the portion of this rectangular piece of land that has not been covered by the circular plot. Now I will need to insert my rectangle. I'll click for the keyboard to be displayed. I'll take on these 4 shapes and go scroll across to insert. Now here I'm going to insert by the shape. So I go to this shape like that. I take this one that looks like a square. Now when my square comes, I have to hold and drag and bring it like that. I touch my screen to adjust until the square now becomes a rectangle. This is it. It's now looking like a rectangle. So now in this rectangle, I also need to insert. I will still come on these 4 shapes. I go to insert. Now I want to insert by the circle. I talk of a circular plot. So this is my circle. I will adjust it and then I will carry and come and drop inside my rectangle. If it doesn't go, I will try to adjust. I'll adjust until it becomes okay. Now this is the circular part that is found inside our rectangular piece of land. Now I want to now put the dimensions. So I will still come to these 4 shapes. Now I will click but when I scroll across to insert, I'll come down now and click but on text box. So in this text box I can just write here 14 meters. 14 meters. I can also click to reduce the text box here. 14 meters. I carry my 14 and come and put here. Can adjust it to somewhere here. Now when then my text box has these dots like that, I scroll down here across to wrap. I click on wrap. I go down here and click on behind text. Now when I click on behind text, it's going to send that my text box behind is my shape. And then now I can equally try to remove the line. I go to border style, and then where you have this circle with a line inside like that, I click on it so that it will remove the line. Now if you check, you see that I have my 14, this is my 14 centimeters on this side. I can also bring in another text box. I still come to these 4 shapes. I scroll to insert. I insert the text box. Now I can put here 40 meters. 40 meters. That's my length. Maybe the length of that my rectangular piece of land. Then I carry it gently. I come and put below here. I still scroll across to wrap. I go down and then I send behind text, and then I still scroll down to border style, and then I take the circle that has a line inside to remove the line from my text box. Now if you look down here, you will see the 14. So already these are questions that we have set using our telephone. So please, you need to set yours like that. Seven questions, each carrying 10 marks. So depending on what you are teaching, try to make sure that you use complex shapes and fractions, decimals like that, so that you will see whether you are acquainted with it, the knowledge that you have learned. All right, do same and then send to our WhatsApp forum. Thank you. Bye.